Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have been off YouTube for a while now, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. Grab a cup of coffee. Today I have my Americano lamb mug. I don't know if it's Americano, it's whatever comes out of the machine. So it's currently March 9th right now as of filming this, and I think last time I filmed anything was mid-December-ish. It's one of my horror movie advent calendar reels, and I still haven't done the reviews. I'm sorry. So I really had to do this for my mental health, by the way. So I know I've been feeling guilty about it, which is partly why I'm coming back, but also I just do want to come back and make more content again. So here's what happened. Mid-December, and just life was happening, right? Around that time, a little before I was starting school, I had a new job and I was kind of getting used to the whole new schedule and everything. And then towards the end of December, I had a vacation, right? And so, like, between Christmas and New Year's and whatever. And so I was kind of like, okay, I want to take this opportunity to, like, really enjoy my vacation, right? Like, I didn't want to disconnect. That was never my intention, was to disconnect completely. I just wanted to, like, really cram down the amount of time I was spending on social media. Because as much as I love it, it's also nice to live in the I hesitate to say the real world, because obviously social media is real people doing real stuff, etc. But face-to-face stuff. Looking back, I started reading towards the end of high school, like as a hobby, which was when I could. Before that, right, you're in school, and so it's like, oh, you have to read for school, it's homework, blah, blah, blah. And then towards the end of high school, I met a friend who was a total bookworm, and I was like, oh, that is so cool, I want to do the same. And so that's when I started reading again. I say again because I used to read a lot as a kid, but then school, right? And so that's when you had to read. Before that, I would love Junie B. Jones and all the Captain Underpants, etc. Anyway, so I fell back in love with reading as a hobby in high school. And I had been watching booktube since. So I discovered booktube somewhere in high school, and then, but I never really consumed it like a lot. I just be here and there. And then I started actually watching it towards the end, maybe a few years after high school, after I started reading as a hobby. And then I started creating on YouTube in 2020. Somewhere along the way, I lost why I really enjoyed reading in the first place, which was just getting lost, kind of, I guess. Getting lost in a story, getting lost in a character, sitting in a cozy spot for like 4 hours. Ugh, I wish I was younger and still had time to do that. Sadly, no. I guess somewhere these past 2 months, I just found myself, and I think there was some discussion about this, about like YouTube today versus YouTube in 2008. That's kind of how I feel about my hobbies, right? Like when your hobbies start, and this is completely natural, social media or not, for your hobbies to evolve, or your relationship to your hobby evolving over time. But I feel like pertaining to reading specifically, social media had too much of a hand in changing my view or my relationship with this hobby, right? So it became more about other readers than it did about the actual book, which is fine, because that's the reason I mean, it's fine, yes and no, but like, it's the reason I became a creator in the first place, and why I went to booktube in the first place was to relate to other readers. But I think it kind of like my focus shifted towards something that I didn't want it to be on necessarily. And so it just became kind of overwhelming recently. The other reason is, as maybe you might have noticed from my videos or not, I don't know, I love editing. I love creating stuff. That's another hobby of mine. And so when I became a creator, I was like, cool, I can mix two hobbies. I can learn more about editing, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, same thing. I think that I still love editing and everything, but I get to do it in other situations than editing booktube. So it kind of, same thing, became the major part of creating videos. When I want my booktube channel to be mostly books, I want the experience of creating to be mostly sharing and books, but not editing, etc. Even though I do enjoy being able to edit out the moments where I come off as a total moron, because it happens. Man, I'm losing my voice for no reason right now. Anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is I just overall got fed up with this hand that social media or the internet was playing. I'm making a few executive decisions right now. First, I'm gonna edit a lot less, which you might see in the next videos. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Second, I think, so I'm also going to pare down my social media usage. I really honestly, I was thinking about this as I was setting up my phone right now. I was wondering why I was becoming so, like, other than the sheer volume of time per day spent on social media, like, what really changed? Because I remember when Facebook first came out, like, obviously times were different. I was much younger, etc. But, like, in the algorithm and so many things. But one new factor that came to mind was the fact that I think back then it was really you're only using one social media, right? I'm gonna stop using Goodreads. I'm gonna stop using Storygraph because it's the tracking. I think that's also on a booktube thing. It's like the tracking. I enjoy knowing what books I read. I enjoy being able to look back and see what books I read. For me, reading, except for e-readers, is like a physical experience, like me and a book, like the actual paper or Kindle or whatever, or earbuds, whatever. But it's a real world experience. It's not like a digital experience, if I'm making any sense. And so I think this whole time I've been feeling also like it's just like with social media and all these platforms, it just feels like you're tracking everything, right? Like you're tracking how many books you read, you're tracking like how did you feel about each book and blah blah blah. And one thing I've been really enjoying is journaling for a long time about I don't know how long I've been journaling for, but it's mostly like personal life journaling. And so it's like, why don't I just journal about books? And so about a year ago or so, I started logging my books in a journal rather than online, like I or like on Goodreads or whatever. And I much prefer that. I think the act of physically writing jogs more thoughts than just typing on a keyboard like, oh, this book was fine, like I didn't like the tone or whatever, Billy Bob was an asshole, but I don't know. Anyway, I get more out of physically writing than I do from typing, which I think there's research to prove that that's a thing, but anyway. And so I've been thinking about this, about how I'm going to keep track of all the books I read. Because like I said, I do really like knowing, like having record. This is one thing I do like about Goodreads is that you can see all the books you've read since like, I don't know, like 2015 or whatever, which is cool. But I figured I much prefer rather like kind of picture books, or not picture books, but like photo albums, right? When you get to pick something physically off your shelf and look through it. I want to have that, but for books. So I think I'm just going to journal about my books from now on and it be a me thing and not have other people being able to snoop through my personal thoughts. And obviously book reviews on YouTube, which I'm going to share. But I don't know, I just enjoy having this thing for me. You know what I mean? Like it's my hobby. And then sharing thoughts on YouTube is another hobby that converge in the middle somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, I think I've just been having that on my mind. And then, so I started reading, like I said, I started watching booktube slowly again when I kind of felt like that feeling of oversaturation kind of faded away. And I've also finished reading a few good books recently, so I'm going to do reviews about those and do my Advent calendar horror movie reviews videos. Anyway, so like 4 years later, I'm done rambling. We might get a few videos out of this channel. No, I'm not going anywhere. I just think I'm gonna change my mode of relating to reading and sharing content online. That's it. Paring down, I guess, is what you would call it. I hope you enjoyed this ramble. I hope you had time to eat a few snacks and drink your coffee. I think mine is cold by now, but anyway. See you in the next video. Bye!